Hi, I'm Mike Dougherty, the co-writer and director of Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Zach Shields, co-writer and executive producer. Happy to be here.
I'm O'Shea Jackson Jr. I play Chief Warrant Officer Barnes.
Hell
in the
yeah.
film.
Woo! Actually, right off the bat, even these opening company logos, there was a tip of the hat to the original 54 film. So the 3 footfalls followed by the roar is exactly how the original film starts.
Ooh.
And that always made an impression. And sorry, one more. I'm just going to keep on rolling.
Yeah.
So the flare lights in the background, I don't know if any people caught that, but those are the Halo jumpers from the 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Nice. When I first started my acting career, obviously I was playing my father, and they asked me to list my 5 heroes that, weren't my dad, and it was Kobe the Rock, Sonic the Hedgehog, Goku, and Godzilla.
Wow. That's a party. And there's our star.
What a beast.
Oh, that's Tony Stark's daughter, in case anybody wants to know.
Oh, yeah.
Lexi, yeah.
Whoa.
I love you 3000. So anyway, welcome to the Godzilla King of the Monsters home video commentary track.
Commentary. We don't say DVD anymore.
No, we don't. Well, it's Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that.
Demanding that the secretive monster hunting coalition known as Monarch
I would keep an eye on those protest signs.
Yeah.
If you keep a close eye on the protest signs, there's some Easter eggs in there. You can pour all your passion and anger into a protest rally, and then Hollywood will just take it and then just turn it into use it for a Godzilla movie.
It's for a good cause, though.
Thanks, guys.
all creatures discovered since the attacks of 2014, a historic tragedy that changed
The same way that Mike brought me into Godzilla, then we had the chance to do that with this movie to all these other non-fans out there to make them fans. So
Right.
we want, it was a good team effort.
And that's the hope, is that this movie appeals to the fans, obviously, but that it also preaches the word of Godzilla to some neophytes.
Kyle Chandler.
So here we have the lovely Millie Bobby Brown playing Madison Russell, the daughter of Vera and Kyle. This is Millie's first feature film, by the way.
Yeah, and this scene was always, a balance of what we want to give away out of the gates and what we want to keep secret. And it was a tricky juggle.
And this scene is actually part of our reshoots.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes, I almost forgot.
Yep.
The original version of the scene was a little more cryptic, probably too cryptic.
Mm.
There wasn't this sort of everyday family life tone to it. It was definitely much more heavy and ominous because while it took place in the exact same location, same characters, but the tone of the conversation was very different. It was very stilted, and it tended to hold back more than it said. But we decided to sort of shift the tone and make it feel more like an everyday morning at home between these two.
Yeah.
While there's still
There's still some secrets.
yeah, they're still
Tension.
they're still tipping the hat. If you go back and watch this scene after having watched the entire movie, I think you realize they're basically plotting the destruction of the world through what they're not saying. If you read between the lines,
Yeah, they're talking in code.
yeah,
But it did help the movie a lot to get to meet them in a normal environment and connect with them.
yeah.
Are you sure he's going to be okay? Was what I
Right.
took. I'm like, oh,
What's that mean?
Yeah, that just got heavier.
Yeah. Yeah, and and he's in the safest place he could be right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Mothra's roar. That's the it's a variation on the classic Mothra roar, and worked really hard and long with the sound designers E Squared, Ethan and Eric, to try and replicate the classic roars from the original Toho movies, but also modernize them a little bit.
I'm on my way.
So this was all Atlanta. This was all a soundstage.
Mm-hmm.
And then the digital team takes over.
That's there.
It's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Gotta know where to look.
Yeah.
Randy Havens, also known as Mr. Clark from Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
I made him shave his mustache off, but I kind of wish I didn't now looking back at it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
His audition tape was great.
Yeah, he's
It
awesome.
made us laugh a lot. Yeah, he was good.
So in case nobody caught that obvious foreshadowing, yes, we're in Mothra's temple. It was important to me to show Mothra at every stage of her development. You know, in the old film, she always starts in an egg, and in a lot of times in some sort of ancient temple. But this is sort of a modern twist on that because usually she's surrounded by her followers, her worshippers, doing a whole song and dance number.
Mm-hmm.
And we really wanted to introduce her as a force of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she's covered in vines. It's hard to tell if they're growing out of her or around her to protect her
Yeah.
in the very lush green environment.
Yeah, like in my mind, that egg has been sitting there for thousands of years and is covered with fossilized vines. They're almost protecting it like a cage. But her design was the toughest
I bet.
out of all the creatures because she's a giant bug.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I feel like we got the larva a lot sooner than we did the adult version of her.
Yeah, yeah.
This one came together really great.
But it's a fun design. The VFX companies and the creature designers did a really fantastic job on her. Something that looked elegant and fearsome at the same time.
By far coolest Mothra.
Hmm.
By far.
But it's still stuff. How do you make a giant bug scary?
Yeah. And
But you know what I did? I actually went back and watched Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, that was
Like Starship Troopers really nailed the giant bug genre, I thought.
and how do we make them expressive? You know,
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't have very many facial features, so.
So it's body language.
The first Godzilla movie I saw was the original Godzilla movie, and it's actually Mike showed it to me, and as you know,
that recent?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Growing up, I never watched a Godzilla movie. They would come on TV, and I didn't want to watch them because they were black and white. And when we were young, we only had a black and white TV. We
Oh, so they were all black.
We,
Yeah, they're
no,
all-
we couldn't afford a color TV. So that by the time we had a color TV, that they were in black and white, and I was like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to black and white. So yeah, I had never connected with Godzilla until working with Mike. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Scariest.
Now it's become, you know, probably the most important part of my life.
One of us. One of us. One of us. So here we have our MacGuffin, the orca, and that's a little tip of the hat to the boat in Jaws, which was a huge inspiration for myself and Gareth in the previous film also, which is why he named the main characters the Brody family. But the orca also, it's I think a double reference because orcas have the ability to communicate in a very similar fashion as the device.
I remember when we were trying to think of an acronym for for a while.
I don't think we tried very long.
We gave up pretty quick.
Yeah, if the audience wants to come up with an acronym for the orca, feel free.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all this is obviously digital. Millie and Vera were looking up at a series of colored balloons. Colored balloons and laser pointers. That's all they had to go off of. And yeah, now I would play the roars of the creatures on set to sort of liven things up a little bit.
The behemoth.
Behemoth, the sound system.
How cuddly does Mothra look right now?
I mean, I would...
Instant.
I would-
Instant. Just
right.
like, oh God, I want one.
And now in the old movies, the larva would change her eye color depending on her mood. So her eyes would go red if she was upset and blue when she was calm. So in this case, we brought in the concept of making her bioluminescent.
Mhm.
And then if you listen, you can hear Bear McCreary wove in the classic Mothra melody.
The music is killing it, right?
Yeah, he did an amazing job.
Got a Free Willy vibe. You remember when he was doing it?
That's what we should do. We should do a Mothra movie in the style of Free Willy. Like full on, she's like standing on a cliff and like the Mothra larva like leaps over her.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay, so here we have our classic bad guy entrance with the best bad guy in the world, Charles Dance.
Charles Dance.
I mean, if that's not a Vader entrance, I don't know what it is. Especially because he looks Randy up and down, just condescendingly. You know, like he's looking at his
Yeah,
outfit.
you know you're about to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about it is that Tywin Lannister storms into the scene and shoots Mr. Clark from Stranger Things in that. Yeah, it's just
You're a Lannister.
King Ghidorah sends the gods.
By the way, the Targaryens completely bit Ghidorah on that flag, like their flag.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
yeah.
Godzilla, the new turtles, Kong,
So there we have a little
Kong.
reference to
Titan,
our certain other hairy beast who won't be making an appearance in this film, but you know we gotta keep the cinematic universe going. So
which of these
dropping some names here and there for the next chapter.
titans are here to protect us?
Sally Hawkins.
Great history.
And CCH Pounder, by the way, I've been a fan of hers forever. That voice is just iconic. Hearing CCH Pounder say Godzilla, something about it. And yes, we brought back David Strath there, and I really liked the dynamic they had in the previous film. Like they just felt very real.
Hans.
Hans is our military advisor, sitting to the right of Mr. Strath there. Hans Bush.
What a legend.
Yeah.
He is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Former Green Beret
Mm-hmm.
colonel.
What?
mining and seismic surveys. But these are not monsters.
so Ken Watanabe,
Rising
icon.
from the wall that was
He can read the back of a cereal box and make it sound cool.
I admire all forms of life.
Yeah, I thought Sally and Ken were the best characters from the first movie because like Ken Watanabe's character, Dr. Serizawa, really, for me personally, he sort of reflects my views of Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he respects them, he admires them, probably wants to climb on his back and ride around like I do.
Yeah.
You know, secretly.
Oh, it's no secret.
Yeah. The idea that we should be Godzilla's pet matches up with my worldview.
No, actually, that's not what Dr. Serizawa meant. No one is implying that we would be Godzilla.
And then Mr. Middleditch, one of our newer characters, Sam Coleman. Yeah, I was a huge fan of his from Silicon Valley. And we wanted sort of a,
Senators, while
not comedy relief, but just someone newer and a fresh face and who could sort of bring a little bit of levity every now and then.
I met Tom we were reading for this movie that we both know we shouldn't be doing. And it like didn't work out and it was like a thank God moment. And then we met each other back on Godzilla.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yeah, just hold out.
Oh, this was my favorite day of shooting. My absolute favorite day was shooting with the wolves. Because these were actual wolf pups.
Wow.
And it's a fake elk, but real meat.
Oh,
So,
you know.
yeah, I love you, human actors, but man, working with the animals was the best.
We were in Mexico City, Shay.
Yeah, you
Oh,
yeah. You guys were in Mexico City.
We
Oh,
missed
So
the
I was
wolves.
I was doing double duty. I was directing this stuff while watching your dailies and having footage texted to me and like typing back notes. This is a visual effect shot. Originally, Sally Hawkins was not in the scene. So the Osprey's real, but the three actors were shot against blue screen. So this was also part of our reshoots. And originally it was strictly between Kyle, Ken, and Thomas. And they didn't meet up with Sally Hawkins until they got to the underwater base. But we realized like she's such a great presence. She just adds a certain balance to every scene. So we went back and redid this with Sally. And she just evokes so much humanity and empathy in everything that she does. Also, this is Tony Stark's cabin. You'll notice that when you shoot in the same city as certain other movies, like you end up sharing certain locations and
Right.
and actors. So
Atlanta, man.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah, we're setting up the
Yeah.
crossover movie between
I'm
Godzilla and
telling you,
Avengers. Yeah.
it will go down.
That's one of my favorite moments of Thomas's.
Yeah, he's just so good at just the
Yeah.
awkward comedy.
After San Francisco, she went home.
And then here we have our esteemed Kyle Chandler, who in a lot of ways is just playing himself.
Right? I remember when I first met Kyle, I was like, wow, he's really in character. And
No.
he's like, no, that's how he talks.
No, I like the
Yeah.
casting for this was a really fun process, and with Mark, it was a process because there's a lot of actors who they got the square jaw and the pretty face, but you can't ever imagine them actually chopping wood. And Kyle Chandler, he just chops wood for the heck of it. He's just very authentic. Feels like he would be living out in the woods.
He's got his Airstream on the back of his truck.
Yep.
man.
You know?
He's eating
Yep.
beans out of a can.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Shit.
You don't want catering?
So it was real. And I also, as much as I love British actors, didn't want to get a British actor to play the rugged American.
Oh, yeah.
Again. So we got an actual rugged
It's
American.
about time somebody stood up for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're always the victim.
Nice.
Yeah.
Americans.
American representation in film.
Man.
So this was also a part of reshoots. Again, originally Sally wasn't in this sequence at all. She sort of reconnected with everybody once they landed in the underwater base. But again, it's Sally Hawkins. So
Right.
Yeah.
the more Sally, the better.
We
But-
wanted to feel closer to Kyle and his plight.
Yeah.
What his wound was, and we figured Sally's the best way into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'd tell her my secrets. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
right?
She already knows your
She
secret.
already knows them.
Hair and makeup trailer. I was just letting it fly.
So if you keep a close eye on the iPad here, there's some interesting little mentions, both the creatures themselves, but also the locations of the different Monarch containment facilities.
They showed that again in the underwater base, and I remember on set, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
How many of these things are there? 17.
Yeah, it was important to me just to set up the idea that Monarch over the last 5 years has been very busy finding other hibernating titans. So here we go. So the locations of these sleeping titans are very specific. You can see Skull Island mentioned there too. But the locations are also they have mythological importance. They weren't just sort of random places that we picked. Stone Mountain in Georgia also has a very quasi-mystical reputation.
Hey, look at that. We're here.
Russell Bravo, this is Raptor 1 on
I
direct.
see you, Liz.
Ah, she's so great.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Ludlow. Playing.
She flies every vehicle.
Yeah, she can fly anything.
Griffin.
Yeah, she
You
can
got
fly.
Griffin as your last name, you better be able to fly.
So here's the funny thing. I thought we were being all smart and original with this concept of the underwater base and the doors opening up in the tunnel. And then 2 weeks ago, because I'm still watching old Godzilla movies as part of my DNA, I went back and watched Destroy All Monsters. Underwater base.
There it is.
And big gates open up and they descend down into it, and
But is it through an oil rig, Mike?
not through an oil rig. That's the only difference.
Come on now, we out.
The big distinction.
So there's the Muto head
Yeah, I love
to the
that.
left there.
That they just walk through it.
Yeah, I just love the idea that Monarch would do the smart thing. They would grab the severed head from the previous film and they would study the hell out of it.
A containment site in China's Henan and
So this was originally where Sally sort of re-entered the film,
Mothra escaped. Only to
but it's kind of amazing how much reshoots will seamlessly fit back into your original cut.
Yeah, and there was a whole scene, a couple of scenes that we cut from before this of Kyle getting introduced to the Monarch facility.
Yeah, our first act was just really long. It kind of became Godzilla the miniseries, so we just had to do some compression.
Yeah,
It's always a tricky balance with a Godzilla movie to figure out how much time to spend with the people and talking versus just getting to the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bradley Whitford. Been a fan of his since The West Wing, so I was insistent on offering him the role, and surprisingly, he said yes.
I've been a fan of his since Billy Madison, so it's not a competition, Mike. But I'm just
But here's my thing. So they have Monarch mugs, right?
Yeah.
So this top secret monster hunting organization has branding.
Yeah.
You know, which means that there were probably emails sent around. Like Serizawa has to sign off on like the various Monarch merchandise. Like I'm assuming there's a gift shop somewhere in here.
It's got to be apparel.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Stanton we had there was a lot of him going around and spiking people's coffee with this little flask that he had, but it didn't make the cut.
Back here. I think that they want you to go after this Mothra so they can go after a real prize. Something bigger.
Right. Look, this is not the first specimen they've captured. They know what they are doing.
That's not just a specimen. I've got an ex-wife and a daughter out there, in case you forgot.
I think Dr. Stanton's biography actually says that he's been like divorced 3 times.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah. It's somewhere on the monarchsciences.com website.
You can also see him in the background hitting on various
Yes.
crew members, male or female or otherwise.
When we shot, like, he's constantly flirting with like some of the background players.
Yeah.
And so like one day he was like flirting on the submarine. He was like flirting with one of the background actresses in character.
Yeah, right.
The idea that Dr. Stanton would do that.
Mhm.
And so then another day we were shooting on the Osprey or something. And I was like, hey, Bradley, you should hit on that guy this time.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
He didn't give a
He's like,
shit.
I like it. Dr. Stanton's up for anything. I'm like, yep.
Oh, we missed your somebody
Oh,
introduced you?
sorry.
No, dude, I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
on the commentary.
Yeah, that's
I'm
our
gonna be-
actual main character.
Yeah.
Nice to have you back.
Is my name Jackson Barnes?
It is.
I was telling people I didn't have like a name until the I was like, yeah, I'm Barnes.
No, you've got a name.
That's the Monarch. They
Everyone's
take away
got
the
a
first.
name.
No, they take away the first name.
You got a little dossier and everything, man.
So this is Monarch Outpost 32, and if anyone is a fan of The Thing, that's a little nod to that film, which was Outpost 31. So, which was also in Antarctica, but in my mind, that facility burned down, and Outpost 32 kind of took its place. But I really love the idea of discovering Ghidorah in an environment that sort of matched his character. Like all the creatures are found in environments that suit them. So Mothra in this very lush, lively rainforest. Ghidorah here in a desolate, dark, icy Antarctic location.
Straight ahead.
Now this is also all soundstage. This was a giant, like football field size Epsom salt.
And soap.
Soap.
Yes, both soap. Because the soap flakes would actually melt when they hit you and not just get stuck to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we did Krampus, we had baby diapers. Remember, Mike?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Filling-
you find baby
Yeah,
diapers in your pockets and in your shoes like a year later.
Yeah.
That's
I
hilarious.
don't think I can do any more fake snow movies.
Yeah.
Hey, Georgia will demand it from you.
This was fun to try to keep up, the idea that Millie and Vera are captives.
Yeah.
And it's a fine balance that we had to keep up for a while, and I really like this approach.
Me and Vera would go back and forth constantly on set because I kept calling her the bad guy.
Oh,
She's like, I'm not the bad guy. And I'm like,
she's not the bad guy.
Hey, look, according to Jackson Barnes,
Now you're really owning your
I'm
name.
all behind Jackson.
She's a complicated character. I really love the set design, as simple as it is, that Scott Chambliss did in here. The idea of these tubes, these tunnels, because I thought they kind of felt like you were in the literal belly of the beast.
Yeah.
It felt like you were walking through the sort of Ghidorah's innards in a way. Again, like I'm really into using the environment to try and sort of communicate almost subconsciously the character itself.
You have everything you need.
And then the other subtle VFX in a lot of these is the breath, the digital breath.
Right.
I was really big on that, just to help sell how cold it actually was, because it was not cold when we shot this.
Not cold.
Yeah, you guys are always in winter gear in the hottest days in Atlanta.
Yeah, completely dehydrated. I'm not a fan of water. I don't really drink it a lot. And like being in Arctic gear in Atlanta during the summer with steam everywhere, but it was for Godzilla, so it would be all right.
Yeah, right?
We have a grisly situation up here in the attic. Come on, Andrew.
Oh, this is one of my favorite days of shooting. This day,
The family flashback.
the family flashback. It was early on. It was like day 2 or 3, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost part of the pre-shoot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, a glimpse into the life that he once had.
It really felt like they were a real family. The actors got along so well.
They did.
Kyle really felt like the dad, and Vera felt like the mother. And
Yeah, and we shot so much more. We shot a whole birthday cake scene with the family, but in the end, it kind of felt like we were peeling the onions a little bit. Oh, and this ultrasound. We had a whole flashback where you saw Vera in a fake belly that make her look like she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just trying to emphasize sort of the history of this family and how it's fallen apart ever since Godzilla entered their lives. But it was just too much. We get it.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite sequences, especially because there's no score. It's just really great editing and sound design. And I love that every character has a moment. And there's a really fun Easter egg coming up if you keep a close eye. All right, so these guns roll out, which I love. I want to live in this base. But if you keep a close eye on the monitors, a lot of times in scenes, you'll see little tiny things. Like that we reference Godzilla's actual name as Titanus Gojira or Titanus Mosura. Like, I love that the scientific designation uses their proper Japanese names. Like there, you can see it in the corner there, very briefly. But I would keep a close eye on the names of the guns themselves when we get back to Yushe. What a badass.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, Maser turret status. So, for Godzilla fans out there, or not Godzilla fans, the Masers were classic weapons in the old movies. They were these very specially designed guns that would roll out into Tokyo whenever Godzilla or another monster was approaching the city. They kind of looked like radar dishes on the end of guns. So I thought, well, this film needs to reference the Masers in some fashion, so of course they would have underwater versions.
Right.
Yeah.
Aisha Hines killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Look at these hands. Woo!
Oh, it's an amazing performance, by the way. I mean, who is that guy?
That's the MTV award right there. Right there.
Best resignation.
But yeah,
Best showing of restraint.
Yeah.
but I really think that the sound designers did an amazing job. I remember this is one of the first scenes that we had cut together when we were still shooting. One of the first assemblies that I watched, and I think I cried because I realized, oh God, we're not making a disaster.
Yeah.
This is actually working. This could work. And again, it's just nice to have a scene come together and not have to rely on score, and still build the tension and the drama strictly using the sound design.
This was one of the hardest previses we had. As simple as it is, we spent so much time on it, back and forth, trying to get. It's always difficult with Godzilla and his scale.
Yeah,
but this one in particular, with him through the glass in the water,
and it was important. I wanted to show Godzilla in a way that we'd never seen him before. We've always seen him rise up out of the water and stomp through a city, but we've never seen him like in his natural environment, just sort of inquisitively watching. Just as curious about us as we are about him. And the other fun thing about shooting this, I don't know if you remember when we did it, Shay, but I played the sound of an actual heartbeat.
Yeah.
To kind of like almost as a metronome.
It definitely, as an actor, like that locks you in, and just to have all the practical effects you gave us.
But here's the thing, I don't know if you know it, the heartbeat was Kong's heartbeat.
Oh wow.
So in the
heavy.
in the 1976 version of King Kong, he's laying at the bottom of the World Trade Center dying. And the only sound you hear is his heartbeat, and it's fading. And Jessica Lange comes up to him and watches him dying. And that sound always stuck with me ever since I was a kid, because it was like one of the first times I felt such pity and empathy for a giant monster was seeing Kong die in that film. And so I had my assistant rip the sound of the heartbeat, and we played it on set. And it sort of set the pacing and the tone of the scene.
It sets up the best jump scare in the movie ever. Man.
But again, like as inquisitive and gentle Godzilla seems in that moment, I love the idea that he still wants to establish who's boss. Like that's why he buzzed the base.
It's just if I wanted to,
I could destroy you. Yeah, but he's not going to.
I'm on my day off.
And by the way, it's inspired by what actual animals tend to do at the zoo. So I used to spend a lot of time with the grizzly bears and the mountain gorillas or the lowland gorillas at the Columbus Zoo in Ohio. And every now and then they would charge the glass.
Whoa.
Or worse, they would throw certain substances at you if they didn't like you. Like, essentially, these animals are judging you when you come up to their pen, their enclosures, and if they don't like you, they will let you know. So that moment with Godzilla was definitely inspired by those experiences. This is one of my favorite vehicles, the Argo. I just love the idea that Monarch has been very busy developing new technologies and weapons, preparing for the day that these creatures might wake up. You know, that they're not going to get caught with their pants down.
Yeah, and budget's no option. They can build a flying.
Yeah, of course,
a flying building.
Yeah,
essentially.
In a Godzilla movie, you spare no expense. I really like this touch. Chen was a new character that we added. She has ties to the larger history of the Godzilla franchise. We'll get to that as we see more of her. But the idea that Monarch would hire experts in mythology and folklore, knowing that these creatures were sort of the inspiration for all of our legends about monsters and giants and dragons, that they would hire experts in that field to help identify them, realizing that the ancient world, ancient manuscripts might have clues about what these creatures actually are. And Zhang Ziyi's a legend. I mean, been in love with her since Crouching Tiger.
She was another person who would make fun of me on set. She'd be like, "Say something in Chinese," and I'm like, I don't know nothing.
I didn't know that.
Asked me every time she saw me.
Did you ever see her bust out her martial arts moves on set?
No.
Whoa.
First of all, her jacket game is through the roof.
Yeah, well, all around it's like great.
Yeah, glasses through the roof.
Zhang Ziyi, I mean, she was trained classically as a dancer, but obviously learned martial arts along the way. And every now and then on set, she would suddenly just bust out like in a karate pose or a kung fu pose.
It's in her, man.
And it was jarring because it was like, she's so tiny.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden she would just strike this pose and I was like, whoa, okay, you could kill me if you wanted to, probably. And I might like it.
You remember my uncle on set, we would tell him all the time, that lady right there, dude,
yeah,
she'll put it on you, bro. You better watch it. Yeah, star.
Oh, man. What a guy.
Okay, so here's G-Team in action.
Strong formation.
Here we go. This is all the handy. You guys trained for this.
Yeah.
I was adamant that you guys move like an actual trained military unit. So Hans Busch, our advisor, took you guys out into the sweltering factories of Atlanta and had you move, and I think it really paid off. This is like real, yeah.
Definitely. Look at it. On me.
So was this the day that you found out?
No.
This
Okay.
is a later day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see Shay really starting to sweat. It's the day he found out he's having a baby.
Having a daughter.
Yeah.
And I had to find out on set, like, all right, yeah, it's happening right now. So I was not focused.
No, I think the tension and anxiety on your face comes through.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think finding out that you were having a baby girl played into your character because you were worried.
Yeah. And at the time, you actually handled it really well.
I tried, dude.
I mean, you were sweating.
Dude, it was, man, you should have seen me in the trailer.
So this whole sequence is an amazing blend of practical sets, visual effects, digital set extensions. Because again, all of this was shot on a soundstage. Very little of the film was shot on location. But there's subtle effects added. Again, digital breath, atmosphere, snow here and there. But and then the ice wall, we had a small portion of it to shoot in camera, but the majority of it is digital. So a lot of this was blue screen work.
The sets were crazy.
Yeah, this was a good set. This was big.
Yeah. Scott Chambliss just really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Every set was beautiful. Like I was always sad to leave a set.
Man, the bass, the underwater bass, because it's rare that I got to do scenes where everybody's in it.
Yeah.
And like it was, man, when those were over, it was kind of weak.
Yeah, they build this whole giant set, and it takes a month to build it, and then in a day or two, just ripping it apart.
So yeah, so like again, like this scene is sort of peppered with different visual effects and set extensions, and obviously the wider shots of Ghidorah's claw frozen in the ice. That's all digital. But even behind the actors here, like they can just seamlessly add and extend sets. Basically, you can do whatever you want in movies now if you can afford it.
Hashtag if you can afford it.
Yeah. So this is obviously a very important moment where we realize that things are not as they seem. That Vera and Millie's characters are up to something else, and they are not, in fact, kidnapped victims of any kind.
Yeah, this was a tricky moment.
Yeah.
This was the first version of it was so wonderful. It was a Roger Barton special.
Yeah, our editor Roger Barton cut the first version of the scene together and really, really nailed it. But yeah, this is
beginning of the end right here.
Oh, here's a fun little thing. So our ice wall was done by the same company that did the ice wall in Game of Thrones. And so this whole effect of the crumbling, the breaking ice wall, same company. Sometimes I wonder if they just recycled.
Yeah,
this is the Game of Thrones ice wall. They just
For sure.
did it. No, I'm pretty sure they didn't do that. But the idea of a essentially mother-daughter villain team just was too tempting to resist for Zach and I because it's just never been done.
Yeah.
In these big tentpole movies, the bad guy is usually some megalomaniac businessman, almost always a male.
Yeah.
Rarely do you get female antagonists. And we had just never seen a mother-daughter team up before like that. So it just seemed like a really ripe challenge, and we had a lot of fun with it. But again, I don't even consider them the villains. They're just very complicated antagonists.
I just want everybody to know that it slipped out. Told you, Vera. You the bad guy.
I'm on Team Emma. So
Yeah, honestly, it just takes a turn. That's all.
I like villains that are painted in shades of gray. Like
They should be.
yeah, every villain is the hero of their own story.
Yeah. I think that's why
I
Darth
went
Vader
back
works.
and forth a lot.
Yeah, you should though.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that complicates it really later on is Ghidorah.
That's what I mean. He's the true bad guy
Yeah.
in my mind. But even Charles he's an eco-terrorist, but he is trying to save the planet.
And Kyle's ultimately as much his fault as Vera for all this. If they were able to heal their family, this whole story doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we kept calling it Kramer versus Godzilla. It's like the worst divorce movie in the world. So again, this is just beautiful teamwork between our practical sets and our visual effects team. So this was all indoors in Atlanta. Didn't go outside for a single second of this scene.
No, barely for the movie at all.
And this sequence, like a lot of our other set pieces, a lot of our other action scenes, was prevised. And for people who aren't familiar with that process, previs is sort of a roughly animated 3D version of the scene. It started with storyboards. We had an amazing storyboard artist named Doug Leffler, who used to be a Disney animator. And Doug would do very simple line drawings of sequences and then work with the previs artists who would flesh this out. And this whole Rise of Ghidorah moment was almost shot for shot done exactly like the previs.
Yeah. We did an hour and a half of previs for the whole movie, which is crazy, given that the movie's 2 hours. Yeah. Wow. An hour and a half.
So basically previs the entire movie except for the people talking scene.
Yeah.
And sometimes we did a little people talk.
A little bit, maybe.
Hashtag
But it's fun.
F-bomb.
Yeah.
Got the
that
F-bomb right
All
there.
right.
Jay gets F-bomb trophy.
Yeah, you get the one F-bomb. And
That's an honor in a Godzilla film. I mean, standard.
Yeah. I think it was in your contract. So right there, that's the first time you really hear Ghidorah's roar, or as I would call it, his trill, because Ghidorah in the classic films had such an iconic sound to him. Again, E Squared, our sound designers, did such a great job with the roars and the screeches of the creatures so that they were modern, but they still evoked sort of their classic incarnations.
And since this is the first time meeting Ghidorah, we really want to make sure we take the time to reveal him and not so many of these big movies. It's so fast paced.
Yeah.
Little glimpses of the creatures, and We tried to make it so that you can take him in and make the shots dynamic.
Well, I really wanted,
Look at this. Ooh.
it was really about also just giving us time to get some personality through him. Like, what I love about Ghidorah in this sequence is that he doesn't come out and just start obliterating people right away. He's kind of curious.
Yeah, like what's going on?
Yeah, I know. Like, who are these dudes? You know,
What year is it?
Last time he saw, yeah. He's like Rip Van Winkle. And like last time he saw humans, they were probably like chucking spears at him.
Right.
You know? So now he's seeing human beings shooting these little pellet guns at him as far as he's concerned. But I love that he sort of bends down to sniff them out. Like the one head specifically just wants to see like, what are these? And then it's the center head that sort of, you know, gets them back on mission, you know?
Not worth it.
Yeah. But something that Zach and I worked really hard on was to try and establish each head as having an individual personality.
Yeah. What were they? Ishi? We named him.
Yeah, it's I don't remember. Just check my notes, but they've got names.
They got names.
Yeah, but the center head's the alpha.
Yeah.
And then the head on, if you're looking at Ghidorah, the head on the left there, that one is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Like he's ready to brawl, and the head on the right is kind of the more curious,
kind of duncy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I actually kind of feel bad for him because I don't think he'd be doing these things if it wasn't for his brothers.
Yeah.
You know, he might actually be kind of cool, but he's sort of like forced to go along with it because he has no choice. But it's the center head that's really sort of the leader of the pack.
He was there first.
Yeah.
He just looks like the devil. You know?
But I love that he senses Godzilla coming before anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, much like an
real
animal would.
yeah.
Like whether he's sensing the vibration, the change in temperature.
This is a disturbance.
Yeah. But also, I think setting up the idea that these guys have fought before. Like these are old rivals getting ready to settle a grudge.
I was waiting for you at the door.
I love the humans in this because there's just they're just nothing they can do.
I know.
Just watching it happen.
Bystanders.
As they should be.
I took my friend Roman to the premiere, and he was like, "I didn't expect them to fight so early." Look, man, we're not teasing.
Yeah, half an hour in, let's get on.
Yeah, let's come on.
Yeah.
And in this corner,
Yeah.
it's going down.
But
Look at that.
It's
Massive.
I love that because it makes Godzilla look
small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
small, which never happened.
He is the underdog.
You don't want these hands, bro.
But the humans have nothing to do in the scene except attempt to survive. You know,
the helicopter days were so sketch. They were so sketch. I never had sparks like shot at me and like, all right, Shay, now you're spinning.
but I really wanted to shift the focus to the monsters. You know, we've been spending 35 minutes with the human days of our lives drama of the film. It was time for the monsters to really take the spotlight. I mean, like they're there, they're trying to do their survive, help each other and all that. But it was definitely time to have a really nice fight, and it's the first of many fights to come.
Godzilla, I've never looked at him as a villain. It's always, the humans are chilling, and some creature comes out of nowhere and is causing ruckus. Godzilla senses this on Monster Island, swims over to us, handles his business, and goes back home. That's a hero. He's always had my back, and, he was always the biggest and baddest. And he's just always been the monster of monster movies. I know there's Frankenstein and all those things, but as far as a monster, a real monster, Godzilla is king. I gasped when he missed. When the first time I saw it.
And that was to show that, Godzilla is an underdog in this fight.
His ultimate weapon, which in the last movie
was his finishing
finisher.
move.
Yeah.
Is useless. And this is one of my all-time favorite moments.
And
Oscar nominee Sally Hawkins.
That's a picture wrap on Sally.
That was practical, actually. Yeah, that was digital.
Yeah, it's picture wrap on Sally.
Yeah.
Hawkins.
And there was a moment where I wanted to continue to hear her screams as she's being eaten. And I thought about doing that at the ADR session.
Look, that's that horror.
we had a
I know.
That's that horror in you.
Ow! Oh, that hurts. Like even through here, just keep it going. You know,
I'm
You
still
hear
alive.
5 scenes from now,
Yeah.
just echoing from his belly.
I just wanted to bring some morbid, dark humor into this. So the idea of just killing Sally Hawkins, 40 minutes into the movie just was too irresistible.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure the audience knew no one's safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Nobody's safe.
There's no better way to establish a villain than having him kill a character that everybody loves.
yeah.
Sally's demise was fun too. And that was also part of the reason we went back and shot additional scenes with her. We went back and added her to the cabin, added her to the Osprey in the first act, was because we intentionally wanted the audience to form a bit of an emotional connection to her so that it hurt more when she died.
Now that I know that, those were added, it definitely would have been, you would have felt something missing with Dr. Graham.
Yeah. And it was fun too. I remember in the early test screenings, hearing people gasp when she died, so we knew it was working.
Yeah.
That trigger. All due respect, Colonel, you saw wrong. Okay, she wouldn't have done it. Christ,
I grew up as a devoted apostle of Godzilla, and Zach was much newer to the character and the mythos. So I thought it was a good balance, the idea that, I'm wrapped up in the fandom and the love, and you can sort of look at it from a fresher perspective, a more objective perspective, and sort of call me on my crap if I was sort of too wrapped up in the fandom and was sort of pushing ideas that might be too over the heads of the general audience.
Huh.
You were a good barometer.
Oh, good.
Both
Well,
sides.
it was a great combination of knowledge and ignorance. and if we could get by both of us, it meant it was supposed to be there.
Let me find her. So, let's keep looking.
This was another fun moment because again, it's a challenge to do anything different or new in a Godzilla film because there have been so many of them over 65 plus years. But seeing Godzilla just doing his thing, swimming underwater, something that we've never really gotten a great glimpse of.
Outpost 56 in Isla de Mara, Mexico. We touched down there in 10 minutes.
What about the people?
Actually, I would say, I never thought about this before, but I would say you'd stand behind this as the director's cut.
I would. Right now, at this point in time, I would say this is the cut that the movie needs to be. But, down the road when we're all gray,
Yeah.
who knows what could happen.
Hashtag down the road.
This is one of the hardest scenes to shoot in the entire movie. We called it Scene 59, which is the official name in the shooting script. But we went through so many iterations of this. We shot a version on set, obviously, and then we did extensive reshoots, and then the editing process for the scene was endless because it's a very important scene where we finally get to hear from Emma herself why she's doing what she's doing. And she brings up a lot of sensitive subjects. There's a lot of personal drama, and there was a much longer version of the scene in the first cut. Just lots of complications. And then visual effects to try and make the reshoots and the original footage work together because this scene is sort of a hybrid of the original shoot and the reshoot. So it was very complicated, surprisingly complicated.
Z still has the best line.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Yeah. But I like what she has to say. I think Vera did a phenomenal job with her performance here, but to me, this is like a perfect example of a villain painted in shades of gray. She's not mustache twirling. She takes no pleasure in what she's doing, but she's making some very valid points.
Greater good.
Yeah.
I loved how much Vera herself actually believed it. she really got into it.
Yeah.
But like all living organisms,
Yeah. I believe it.
I know.
if I could, listen, it's like if I could push a button and wake up 17 giant monsters, I probably wouldn't give it a second thought. I mean, I'm the guy who thinks that, Hammond in Jurassic Park was doing the right thing by cloning dinosaurs. Why not?
I mean, why not? I thought of it.
Yeah. If we can do it, screw it. Let's give it a shot, see what happens.
human infection will only continue to spread. And within our life,
As a kid, Godzilla just completely ruined Jurassic Park for me.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like,
Really?
it's Godzilla. Like, before it was just, trucks and dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
And then when you get Godzilla, the dinosaurs are just never the same to me. Like,
Interesting.
dude, it just wasn't. Y'all.
Like, well, I mean, I'm a little older than you, but like, having grown up on the classic Godzilla films, when Jurassic Park came along, that was a revelation because I realized, oh, now we can make a Godzilla film using this technology.
Right.
So I knew it was sort of the step of a whole new world. I really love this time-lapse footage, by the way. The idea that the Titans would be able to trigger new life via their radiation, I thought was really interesting. And for me personally, this was partially inspired by Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, for all the other super nerds out there. But there's a scene in that film where they explain how the Genesis device works. And the Genesis device could take a lifeless planet and create new life, create a whole new livable ecosystem on a planet or a moon. So I just love the idea that these giant monsters don't just destroy things, but in the aftermath of their destruction, that they could cause nature to reclaim an environment, which happens naturally. I mean, Chernobyl is currently overflowing with wildlife thanks to humans finally getting the hell out of the way.
I love destroying Las Vegas too. I've always said that place should be burned to the ground.
Oh, jeez.
Vegas.
Oh, man.
It's a good time.
We lost Anne. I trained her to survive, and at least now she will have a fighting chance. A fighting chance?
Those eyes are piercing.
I know.
Piercing.
Yeah.
Through the screen.
As weird as it sounds, I knew Vera would look great in the scene because I loved her in Source Code. I don't know if you saw that movie, but she played a military officer who's trying to guide the hero through his journey, and she tended to always appear on a monitor. And even then, she had such a presence, and those eyes always popped.
I can only urge you all to take refuge. Over the last 60 years...
I love this shift in her tone. I mean, she wrestles with so many different emotions in the scene, but when she finally gathers herself and decides to go cold and firm, it's chilling. But then here, you can feel the pain in her eyes. She's just astounding.
That bitch.
And then just so we don't get too heavy, so we don't get too dark, Z's got to have a moment. And Z was really hesitant to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was reluctant. She was nervous about saying that, but when she finally did it, I think she had a good time with it. And it always gets a really nice laugh.
Always. That's the one right there.
I think everyone's thinking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's got to be another way.
Yeah. So here we have another scene that was part of our pickups, part of our reshoots. Originally, we never cut back to Emma and Jonah's bunker. Originally, we just went straight into the Rodan rising out of the volcano. But what we realized through test screenings and internal discussions was that the sort of human drama between Vera and Millie and Charles was needed. You wanted to know that they were really wrestling with this dilemma and that it wasn't an easy decision for them.
Yeah, and because Vera is a redemptive character, a lot of it is setting up, the devil and angel on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Which side is she being pulled by at any given moment?
Yeah. And that's just part of the post-production process. Part of editing is realizing that, every now and then you feel like there might be a note missing in your symphony, or a whole phrase. And thankfully, when you do these studio films, you have a lot of support and a lot of resources, more than you would if you have an independent. And I'm so glad we got to go back and do this. I think it really helped the film. It really helped understand Emma's character and Millie's, and the idea, that Millie is sort of the angel on Vera's shoulder.
Yeah.
11 in Taiwan.
She's the connection to humanity.
And Norma Bates from Bates Motel. You know what I mean? It's like all these actors are icons as far as I'm concerned. But yes, and as Zach mentioned, the idea that Emma should be a redemptive character and that she's just as torn about this decision. It's not easy. I know.
That right there,
she was so pumped.
By the way, Millie was always like, "Oh, do you want me to cry? Do you want me to roll a tear?"
Ready.
She she can just do it at will.
Craziness.
So here we have the hard work of Zach and Shay and G Team. Yeah, there we go. So
get it up.
This was Mexico City.
Yes.
And this was all second unit. A great team effort of previs and second unit. And so while you guys were shooting this, I was sweating it out in Atlanta with the Wolves. But
at least we were both outside.
Yes, finally. Finally we got to be outside. But that's also part of the process of making these giant movies. Is that second unit will pick up some of the more extensive sequences, and it's really a team effort.
Yeah, it's a movie on this scale. It's just too big.
Yeah,
it has to be a team effort. It has to be a huge collaboration of, ends up being thousands of people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think Rodan has the best introduction in this film.
I mean, all the creatures have a great entrance.
Yeah, but like
Rodan
is nasty.
I mean, yeah, he comes out of a volcano.
Look at that.
You know,
look at his face.
Rodan died in a volcano in his original movie. So he's always had a connection to volcanoes. But it only made sense that our Rodan should be birthed out of one. I like the idea that maybe this is the offspring of the two Rodans that did die in 56.
Feel that?
Like they just plopped an egg in this volcano.
Because this is the best Rodan I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for him. He doesn't get as much love as Ghidorah or Mothra. He's kind of got his own cult following among Godzilla fans.
Guys, you remember that tropical storm where we lost Monster Zero? It's changing direction, and guess where it's headed now?
That's not possible. No storm moves that fast.
Unless it's not a storm.
Oh, man.
We need time to finish the evacuation.
This is where we set up that Ghidorah hides himself
in
within
storms. Yeah.
That he himself can control the atmosphere around us.
Yeah.
Which is great for on set when you're just doused in water.
But it was important for us to show that these aren't just giant monsters, that these are actual gods that will affect the environment directly or indirectly just by existing in it. The idea that this creature can emerge from a volcano and black out the skies, or that Ghidorah can trigger global storms by creating these sort of hurricane winds and adding his own lightning to the mix. In my mind, maybe we save it for a future film, but theoretically, Rodan could trigger volcanic eruptions anywhere he wanted. Like, I like the idea that he could dive bomb into a volcano and then almost like fly underground through the hollow earth and just trigger dormant volcanoes anywhere if he wanted to.
Why not?
So it's not just about destroying infrastructure, but the sort of chain reaction that these creatures would cause by sort of reestablishing themselves in an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, look at this. That would take Godzilla like a good couple hours to destroy. And Rodan's just sort of like, I'm going to go through and clean the streets, without even thinking about it.
But Godzilla could do the same in the ocean. I mean, we wanted them to each represent a different element, so to speak.
Yeah.
Rodan being fire, Godzilla being water, Ghidorah being wind, and Mothra being earth.
Yeah. They're elementals.
Woo! The way that comes out the cloud, man, it gets me every time.
Yeah.
All the aerial,
This was
our first previs.
Was it the first one?
It's the first one I ever saw.
Yeah.
It was our pitch viz.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah. So to get the green light, Zach and I worked a long time on the script, previs, concept art, had to do a whole song and dance number.
And you killed that. Mike had to get up there, do a whole little presentation.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it was worth it. It was really a good time doing, because like there were no constraints or limitations. It was just Legendary and Warner Brothers saying, okay, here's some seed money and some time and resources and some previs artists. Show us what you got. And we did. So this is one of the very first sequences that we boarded and prevised. I wish we could include that. I don't know if they're going to be part of the bonus features or not, but it's fun to go back.
Cool.
It's fun to go back and look at the previs now because it's pretty close.
Pretty close. A lot of it.
That's a primal fear for any human being.
Yeah.
Is to be eaten.
Yeah.
That goes back to our like ancestral DNA.
And for them, it's not for nourishment. It's just a defense. It's just a defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. It's a snack. So the fighter pilots are some very familiar faces. Zach is one of the fighter pilots.
Oh yeah, holding it down.
I'm one of them.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Pause worthy.
Yeah, I don't think you can tell who.
Yeah, I don't even know who's.
I know, right?
Scariest villain to me was Gigan. I still think we should have lost.
Because he almost killed Godzilla.
We should have lost. It should have been over. I was like, this is it, Mom.
I remember seeing Godzilla bleed when he fought Gigan. Bothered me.
I was like, this is so much blood. Like,
yeah.
never seen him like this. The
Yeah.
noises he would make when he was
Yeah.
getting ripped apart. I'm a fan. Look at this. Look.
Yeah.
Oh God, that is the devil.
So something I love about Ghidorah and Rodan, obviously, is that they can take to the skies. And something that I felt like we had never seen a great example of in all the classic Toho films was a true aerial battle between these things. Typically, they're still landlocked, even in the old movies. They're usually sort of just throwing down in a city. But actually seeing them rolling in the clouds together like this was sort of on my wish list.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love that Rodan's willing to just go for it.
Yeah,
He will fight anybody.
Love
I
that
love
mean
it.
mug.
I
That
love
mean mug I have. I don't
Shay's
remember taking the picture.
Profile picture.
That wasn't, so that was a late addition. that was one of your wardrobe continuity photos.
Oh, probably.
Because we didn't get an actual file photo. Anybody else? For you. This little moment was improv by Kyle and Thomas.
I love that moment.
Yeah, and it just sort of defines the relationship perfectly,
Anybody else?
Anybody. Originally, because in the original script, they were supposed to have a friendship. They were supposed to sort of be old pals, and we realized that the more important focus was the relationship between Mark and Serizawa.
Yeah.
The idea that Serizawa was sort of the guiding force for Mark's journey. The relationship between Sam and Mark kind of got reduced.
Yeah, and when Kyle and Thomas met, it became like their adversarial comedy became very, very apparent and good. For me, Godzilla represents our need to look outside ourselves. For me as a person, opening up my horizons and realizing that there's hope in nature. Nature gives us the option to do the right thing at all turns, and it's up to us to follow its voice and to listen to something bigger than ourselves. Listen to God as whatever that means to each one of us.
And he breathes atomic fire.
Yeah, so get out the way.
So the oxygen destroyer is taken from the original black and white Godzilla film. And that was the device that the Dr. Serizawa from that film used to kill Godzilla. So that was sort of the moral dilemma of Serizawa in the original movie, is he created this device which could suck out all the oxygen of the water, but he was afraid that it would become another destructive weapon like the atom bomb. So that was sort of his moral dilemma, is like, does he use this device? And so ultimately he does, and he kills Godzilla at the end of that film using the oxygen destroyer. But he takes himself out with it so that no one else can use the technology. So it seemed like a natural thing to bring back for this film. Only here it's being used by the military, theoretically, to wipe out both monsters. But here I think it really represents humanity's inability to not interfere.
Yeah,
we can't help but get in the middle of a fight when, if we had just let this fight play out, Godzilla would have won, and it probably would have been the end of the movie.
We've been over.
Yeah.
I love that you guys put, now that Ghidorah's in Godzilla's element, the water, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You're done, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Tap out.
Well, it's like fighting an alligator or a crocodile in the water. You're not going to win.
No, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. That was something Zach and I talked about a lot, was like, what are the different kinds of fights and the different kinds of environments where we can have these fights take place that we've just never seen before. So Antarctica, underwater, in the sky, just embracing every environment possible to feature creatures throwing down.
Yeah, and how can we keep it like a rocky back and forth?
Yeah.
Godzilla's down,
Yeah.
and he's up, Ghidorah,
Yeah.
the back and forth of that.
Yep.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Man,
Yeah.
Wow, he is going for it. He's
Again,
going for the juggler.
Had the military not done the stupid thing and launched this thing,
man.
that would have been the finishing move.
Yeah. Over.
He would have ripped off that head and gone for the other two, but no, human beings in their arrogance can't help but interfere.
We did it.
Yep.
We helped.
Yeah. Good job, guys. Yeah. Mission accomplished. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Ugh. I never throughout my childhood looked at Godzilla as the villain. it rocked me a little bit. It's just
Yeah, but as an adult, I think you get it and you can appreciate it.
no.
Yeah.
During the promo tour, somebody asked me, like, why does Godzilla always destroying cities? And I got upset.
Yeah, but I said that like he's not the villain in that movie. We are.
Yeah, we're in the way.
Yeah.
We're in the way.
He's course correcting.
Superman destroys buildings. When he's fighting, just take the fight somewhere else. It doesn't happen. Godzilla's a hero. Not all heroes wear capes.
If you want to look at Godzilla from for strictly entertainment value, you can. That's great. But it's like if you want to swim in the shallow end of the pool, that's fine. But if you want to go to the
shots fired,
if you want to go into the deeper end of the pool and really peel back his layers and look at him as a mythological figure, it only makes him that much cooler. So this was another moment that Zach and I sort of had on a list of just things to see, things that we haven't really done in a Godzilla movie before, and just killing him at the midpoint. And by the way, I think we are at the exact midpoint of the movie.
Yeah, and we wanted to parallel him and Kyle's character. Their Kyle's loss of faith at the beginning,
right,
and finding it at this moment when he realizes, God is dead.
Oh, so this is one of my favorites.
I love that he rips the sack off.
Yeah, that was very important to me. We worked on that for a really long time, and I kept telling the VFX guys to watch The Thing. So Rob Bottin's effects, the practical effects in The Thing were a huge inspiration for this, just making it as visceral as possible.
And that new roar.
Yes.
The roar to
yeah.
wake
So that's
up.
Ghidorah taking the throne, as it were. And then these were
later additions.
These were later additions. I mean, we always wanted to do it, though.
Yeah, we had written it in the original script, and then I think it got taken out for budget.
Yeah.
And we ended up bringing it back at the end.
Yeah, so part of the long development process of any of these big movies is it's a constant negotiation and back and forth. And so this sort of sequence where you see the other creatures rising, as Zach said, was always part of the original treatment and in the first couple drafts. And we took them out and we said, okay, well, we'll figure out a clever way of doing it. And we'll just show blips on a monitor to sort of represent the creatures waking up. And then lo and behold, you watch the first cut and you realize, okay, if we don't see the creatures waking up, we don't feel the same impact. We don't feel like Ghidorah has really taken charge of the pack of Titans. So thankfully, we had a very long post-production period. And coming up with these sort of shots of the creature rising up out of the oil field and rising up out of the mountain, we had the time to do them and do them right.
Yeah.
I love that during this whole it's like a 10-minute sequence of every character looking like we're screwed.
Yep. Yeah.
Every character.
Doesn't get much darker than this.
Here's a little Easter egg for
oh yeah,
fans of the MonsterVerse.
My favorite one.
Yeah,
this is my favorite one.
Why?
Yeah. Come on now.
Oh, you're talking about? I think he's talking.
Oh, I'm actually talking about Dr. Brooks.
Oh,
yeah,
who's in Skull Island?
Yes,
it's his character growing up.
Yeah, so in Kong Skull Island, there was a character named Dr. Brooks, played by, I want to say, was it Corey Hawkins?
Yeah.
Yes. And then so we decided to bring back that character, but now played by the esteemed Joe Morton.
Yeah. And Stanton references him earlier in the Hollow Earth theory as well.
Yeah. And Joe Morton, for you other geeks out there, plays Dyson in Terminator 2. I love him. Got Dyson, man. But yeah, so this is where we really get to properly introduce Mothra in all of her full
our last
glory.
Yeah. She's our last.
I love these Mothra sequences because it's the wonder that we get that we got.
Yeah,
we always wanted that, and sometimes it's hard if you're with Rodan or Ghidorah or even Godzilla because you want to be on edge with him.
Yeah, that was something we talked about from the very beginning, was trying to bring in that sort of Close Encounters style sense of awe and wonder with this movie, and not just rely on sheer terror and tension. And that's a vibe that Mothra brings to the movie effortlessly. And Zhang Ziyi.
Best,
but
is it?
Second. It is Zhang Ziyi. Why is her hair longer though? I don't.
Oh,
why did he call her Dr. Ling?
Yeah.
Huh. Wait.
How about that?
That's not Dr. Chen. But it looks like Dr. Chen.
Ridiculous.
Wait a second. Who was that?
Who was it?
Mystery.
Why does Dr. Chen appear to have a twin sister? Huh.
Fixated on Mothra.
Yeah. I don't know. So this little mother-daughter drama was also reshoots. Yes. It was a very similar scene.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, same location, same tone and everything. Just some different words coming out of their mouths.
Yep.
But I think there are interspersed with this reshoot.
There's some original there.
Yeah. So it's an amazing process making movies. You'd be astounded by how much Frankensteining of reshoots and original production footage goes on.
I wonder, did we digitally remove the boxing wraps on her hand for that end bit?
No.
That's part of the reshoots.
Yeah. So originally Vera enters to find Millie being trained by Charles Dance and the Mercs. And she's like in this sort of like sparring ring with them. And the idea there was that she sees that her daughter is now going to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know, and her mom's trying to pull her back from the edge. But okay, so look. Wait, two identical twin ladies.
Yeah.
On Infant Island in 1961. I wonder what that's about.
I better not see.
That's her mom? Why does her mom have a twin sister?
I better not.
Oh. Wow.
Is it possible?
So many twins.
It's a double mint gum commercial.
But yeah, so we're being a little playful, but yes. So in the old Godzilla films, in the Mothra films especially, she's always accompanied by two identical twin priestesses who are about the size of Barbie dolls. And they'd always sort of lead the sort of song and dance number to wake up Mothra out of her egg or her cocoon. And they always had this sort of telepathic bond with Mothra. And, the idea of doing little tiny ladies was a challenge, but this was sort of our way of doing the Mothra twins in a sort of more grounded fashion.
This is my favorite Easter egg by far.
The
twins.
Okay.
I just love that we did that.
The alien bit.
But you know what's interesting is that not everyone catches the twins.
Yeah, I love so many people.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that it kind of goes over some people's heads.
Wake up and start paying attention to the film.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, like I like rewarding the audience for paying attention.
Yes.
So if you keep a
Don't
close
force
eye,
hate.
yeah, just sort of like lead them to water. But yeah, so there's a lot of things like that sort of peppered throughout. And even that image in the back of Godzilla and Ghidorah, that cave painting style relief, that's taken from Skull Island.
Yeah, that's there.
So if you watch all of Skull Island into its post-credits tag, that's where that image first appears.
All under attack.
So yeah, these images of the creatures destroying various cities were also late additions.
I love that one.
Yeah, so that's Behemoth. That's Methuselah, who's sort of a combination of plant and rock and animal. Mm-hmm. And then the giant spider-looking one is Scylla, which is based off a character from Greek mythology. But I also felt like, part of the Toho tradition is to create new monsters, to add original monsters to the pantheon. So we just sort of grabbed onto the opportunity and ran with it. And it was fun to sort of come up with brand new kaiju.
Wasn't old school Godzilla reference, Biollante, wasn't that like a fan, like they sent that in? There was one of the kaiju is actually like there was a contest and Toho held where fans got to create their own and
really
stuck.
I
yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're
right.
It
was
about
Biollante.
Yeah, I love Biollante. Like Biollante is great because
you see me, I'm out here. That's why I got the part.
Well, by the way, like in those Titans waking up, like I thought Biollante was one of my favorites.
Strong,
because I love it because she's like part plant.
Yeah.
It
goes back into the the whole.
And she's sort of a Frankenstein creation.
Rebirth.
She was a product of humans again meddling with nature. Combining human DNA, plant DNA, and Godzilla DNA, and they create this monstrosity. But you kind of felt sorry for it as a result. Had no choice.
It doesn't really. It's not really aesthetically pleasing either.
Yeah, but
the spores.
If I can find the energy to do another one of these movies, Biollante would be a strong contender.
If I could find the energy.
Yeah. Scraping the bottom of the barrel right now, trust me. Godzilla, he's always represented something surprisingly complicated and multi-layered for me. You know, like on one layer, it's a giant monster that captures that sense of awe and wonder as a kid, the same way you love, for the same reason you love dinosaurs, like you said. But then as an adult, and you sort of mature with him, for me at least, he's represented something much older and wiser and more profound than we give him credit for. You know, like he represents all the mysteries of nature, the power of nature, all the things that we should respect about the natural world, and also the consequences if we don't pay that respect to the natural world. So the map on the wall behind Millie, by the way, that's all visual effect.
Oh,
that map was something else. It was a map, but it wasn't that specific design. So the idea of seeing these other sort of survival bunkers that Monarch had built was a late addition to the movie. And so you'd be astounded by what you can do with visual effects these days. It's not always about giant CG monsters. Sometimes it's very subtle visual effects that you would never be able to see. This is also part of our reshoots. This sort of moment between Sam and Mark was originally much longer and took place inside of the Osprey, and it just dragged the movie down.
I love that Sam asked, "Where are you gonna go?"
Accurate question.
Dude,
you know,
it's not an Uber.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Maybe it is. Who knows?
Well, we got to that by trying to think of all the places, like, where is he going to go? We went through this whole long list and nothing, you know, there's no good answer. He just has to try to find his daughter.
I think he's just desperate.
Yeah,
you know?
anything. I know it's not going to happen here.
Yeah, he's just feeling like a caged animal.
He's got to get to the bottom to earn this moment.
Yeah.
Moment from the gods.
But yeah, again, Mothra can't help but make an amazing entrance every time. But what I really love about this, and it was sort of our idea going into it, was that he becomes sort of divine intervention.
Yeah,
you know, that
this is our last.
This is an angel coming to, you know, literally save the day.
The cloud work in this movie is crazy.
Yeah,
great.
I had. And by the way, that was a subject of many meetings because I love cloud tank effects from the 80s.
Yeah.
And the cloud tank is what they use to do all this sort of classic stuff from Raiders of the Lost Ark and Close Encounters and Poltergeist, and there's nothing quite like it. So I had them watch a lot of those classic movies to sort of study how the cloud shouldn't just be realistic, but awe-inspiring.
Man, they just have so many dope cloud moments.
Yeah. I love this little moment between Kyle and Bradley. Just the look on Kyle's face. Like,
yeah.
Record everything.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, we really wanted to make sure that Mothra felt like something divine, that she wasn't just a big moth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that looked like she was
clothes around the city.
Yeah. She's going straight for the garment district. You know,
bring me your sweaters.
Yeah, everybody, grab your lamps.
Yeah, grab your lamps.
But that thousands of years ago, when ancient man first encountered Mothra, that they would think that she was a goddess. You know, that she would light up the sky with her bioluminescence.
I love this moment with you, Shay.
Oh,
you're trying to. It's like I can really see you trying to imagine that.
You know,
getting physical.
How does this work?
I wish we dragged that out and it just kept going. Yeah, but if she's over there and then he's
show me some chart.
Yeah.
You know what we should do in the next movie is like show what their offspring looks like, and it's just horrifying.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
It just looks like something you want to squash. You know, even Mothra and Godzilla disown like their horrid love child. Yeah,
they bury them.
I think their relationship is more professional.
You know, they both have responsibility.
Yeah, Godzilla and Mothra have a more professional alliance and less romantic or physical.
Right. I mean, they would cuddle together at night.
Yeah,
it's a nice little wrap around the shoulder.
Yeah.
But by the way, Thomas's line is accurate that members of two different species will absolutely have symbiotic relationships with each other.
Something we could learn more about.
Yeah, that's something that like Zach and I talked about a lot too. Is just the notion that we wanted to bring more actual biological science into the film. Bioluminescence, symbiotic relationships, the idea of nature reclaiming the planet if given the opportunity. That's something I've always loved about even the old Godzilla movies, is that they sort of reinforced my love of science and the natural world, and you couldn't help but want to do more research about dinosaurs, or even lost civilizations, which is something we're about to get very deep into.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah. By the way, did not intend it.
You're a monster.
That was not intentional. So, but like, you go back to the original King Kong and the idea that Skull Island was this sort of preserved ecosystem where a primitive human culture was still worshiping this giant monster. And then you saw that again in Mothra. And that's something that's very special to the Godzilla universe, I think, is the idea that monsters were and should be worshipped by human beings.
I had a line in the previous scene where I said we're bringing Godzilla back from the dead, and I really love that I got that line because that's how I felt. I felt like the U.S., our Godzillas, we don't really have a nice layout, but this one I just felt like was we're going back. We're paying homage the way that you're supposed to, and so like I really felt like with our film, like you haven't heard. We bringing Godzilla back from the dead.
We're doing it.
Hell yeah.
That's the mission.
USA.
I like how this is turned into USA.
Ferris Bueller.
So this scene is one of the hardest to shoot because it's one of the actually very few quiet, intimate scenes that we have in the film, just between two of our favorite characters. But what I love about it is that it feels like two old cowboys talking by a fire. Yeah. Like they're in the middle of their mission and they're just going to have this little bonding moment.
Yeah, I think this is my actual favorite, human scene in the
human
movie.
Scene, right?
Yes,
you got to have at least some of those.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a moment where everything changes.
Yeah,
for Mark.
Yeah. But we're not gonna linger on it too long. Let's get back to it.
You know where you're at. You know what you're watching.
You got to shake the room. But what I love about this mission and sort of what we're about to enter is sort of like a Jules Verne style adventure, and I just feel like we never see these kinds of scenes in big movies anymore because it is usually so much about running, jumping, explosions. Infinity gauntlets and all that, and giant blue beams going into the skies, and all. So, I miss sort of classic, almost Indiana Jones style adventures where they enter strange new environments, or you used to see a lot of that in Star Trek too, where you would enter mysterious new locations that had sort of profound implications about who or what we are. So this is I love this location. This is an actual abandoned Civil War tunnel.
Wow.
In Georgia. And it used to be used as a hospital during the Civil War era and is supposedly very haunted. So I was insistent about using it and shooting there just to see if we could encounter anything.
Just a little Boston fact. I hate Boston.
Oh no! What?
What? I'm a Laker fan.
I think
you're a Laker fan.
For the record, I love Boston.
I love Boston too.
We destroy Boston because that's a badge of honor in a Godzilla movie. Like, if you get destroyed in a Godzilla movie, like it means your city's worth destroying.
That's the best part of the movie to me.
No, I think if you don't like Boston, then you'll like the liberties we took with their the geography of the city, just shifting buildings around.
But yeah, we were trying to figure out a place like what's the arena of the third act, and Zach and I realized that we've seen San Francisco, we've seen New York, Los Angeles, but like Boston's never been crushed.
Yeah,
or blowed up.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel that same way.
So here we're getting into the Hollow Earth, and as Dr. Stanton just mentioned, he's always been an advocate in the theory of the Hollow Earth, and the Hollow Earth is a legitimate theory. I mean, it's out there, but the idea that the Earth is sort of porous, that there are tunnels and chambers sort of interwoven throughout our planet where strange new life might exist, or strange old life might exist. And in the case of our film, where even some civilizations might have once existed. I'm a fan of it. And, we're constantly making new discoveries and finding new kinds of life forms under the ocean. So who knows what's down there? We've barely scratched the surface about our own planet.
That's always my go-to when they ask, so do you think Titans are real? I say, well, I don't know what's in the ocean.
We
So,
don't.
Yes.
We don't. We stupidly have not really explored the oceans as much as we should have, or dug under Antarctica's ice. So I love the idea of Atlantis and any number of other lost civilizations. The idea that, in the planet's long history, different civilizations might have rose and fell, and that this was one of them. That this civilization in particular coexisted with the Titans and even figured out some different ways to appease them and form sort of a mutually symbiotic relationship with them. Because ultimately, that's what our civilization in this film has to do. That if we're going to survive an era where these things are waking up, we have to turn to the past to learn how they did it.
And this is for Serizawa. This is a moment of great validation. This is something that he's wondered and hoped was real for his whole life, and he's finally finding signs of it.
So this was all Atlanta. This was not Boston. This was a parking lot in Atlanta. This is a great example of digital set extension, where we built part of the stadium and the field, but then everything else is digital. It's all VFX. Yeah, so this control booth was also on set in Atlanta, and everything outside the window, that was just all blue screen, and then we fill it in later.
Yeah, I actually think this was our most shot set.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird.
I know, right?
Search continues as people around the world seek the debris of left homes in the hope of finding missing loved ones. Though this sight is heartbreaking, it is unfortunately nothing unique. Cities around the globe and the wake of what many are calling the rise of the Titans.
This underwater journey is a favorite part of mine because, again, like we don't see these kinds of sequences in movies anymore. Like sequences which are willing to sort of slow things down, take their time, and aren't just, some crazy wild chase. That I love mystery and awe and just a sense of discovery.
Yeah.
All throughout, all the history of Godzilla, he's always updated. You always see the styling and the new addition that, the new director has put in. And like this right here is what I've always looked at as like the new addition to the lore.
Cool. Well, that was the intention, because, as a kid, you always wondered, where does Godzilla go?
Yeah.
And every movie ends with him wading out into the ocean and disappearing under the surface. But for me, as a kid, it was always a question of like, where's he going? Like, I don't.
Day like.
Yeah.
Who are his friends?
Yeah.
No, but that's true. From the very beginning, I remember you saying you just want to see where Godzilla lives.
Yeah, because every animal creates a den, or in classic mythology, every dragon has a lair, and it only made sense that Godzilla would have one. And I guess if we could flesh out the backstory of this, in our minds, Godzilla had this sort of relationship with this civilization. And I love the idea that this civilization started building their huts and their buildings near Godzilla's natural den or nest, because they realized, well, if we live close to him, the other monsters will leave us alone.
Right.
And maybe we protected Godzilla in a way. Maybe we helped nurse him back to health if he was injured, or if he had offspring, we helped protect the young. Who knows? And then that civilization started to grow over time, and that we started to sort of decorate his den for him.
It's like those little fish that follow sharks.
We wanted to resist destroying Washington, but we just couldn't.
I think destroying Washington D.C. goes back to the '50s movies. Would do that a lot. Whether it was giant monsters or UFOs.
We are right on ammo and low on fuel. We can't take more of it.
Copy. Just hold them off as long as you can.
Arnold, take a look at this. All the Titans have stopped.
What the hell's gotten into them now?
does appear as if the attacks have ceased for the time being, with the creatures going from destructive.
So Behemoth is one of my personal favorite.
Yeah, it just looks so cool.
Yeah, because you never get to see like mammals. You know, all the monsters are always reptiles or insects or a hybrid.
Egg layers.
Yeah, but a really good mammal like Kong just felt needed. So we worked with our creature designers and came up with something. I said, like, veer towards the Ice Age, something that feels like you would have seen in the Ice Age. But it's not a true mammoth. Like, it doesn't have a trunk.
Yeah, it's got kind of an ape-like physique, too.
Yeah, but then the two front paws are actually like giant sloth claws. So the idea is that he could stand up on his hind legs and take a swipe at you if he needed to. But I think he's one of the more benevolent ones if left to his own devices.
He's chill.
Yeah, normally, yeah. But I love the like kind of coming up with different backstories for them. I imagine that he would have been used in war or battle.
Oh man, this scene.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. So
that hug looks so real. Like it just really just feels like
it was.
Oh.
And in that moment, you know, whether they were going to hug or not and how they were going to say goodbye, both of those actors really took that to heart and put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, Zach and I knew from the beginning that we were going to kill Serizawa. I knew. Because, because he...
Well, Dr. Graham's gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, my whole MO is bring a character in that you love and cherish and feel for, and then do terrible things to them. You know, or give them either a shocking demise like Dr. Graham or a very honorable one, which is in the case of Dr. Serizawa. And I think because he is my favorite character, he's the character I identify with the most, wanted to give him the best send-off possible. Like, you know he's dead from the moment this hatch seals.
Yeah.
So every moment from there, from the time the submersible leaves the larger sub and heads into Godzilla's lair, it's like a Viking funeral, you know?
And
by the way, this is a visual effect. That sub never sank below the water.
Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, man, why wasn't I there?
That whole
day?
thing is a VFX.
This whole sequence is my actual favorite sequence in the movie. I think it's also the most collaborative effort of the film, whether it's Guillaume Rocheron, the visual effects supervisor, Larry Scher, the cinematographer, the previs artist.
Yeah.
Us, of course.
Yeah, everything came together. But, you know, it really is. It's like he's now heading to the afterlife.
Willingly.
Welcome to Valhalla.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Straight up.
And if you keep a close eye, like, you can see the remnants of other ships sort of scattered around. And I like that those are sort of like the wrappings from Godzilla snacks. You know, like he's been like chomping down on different ships over the centuries. But yeah, I really wanted this to be like a holy experience. Like, it's not frightening. It's actually very comforting and welcoming and feels like the completion of Serizawa's journey. But it also mirrors the journey of Serizawa from the 54 film. So whereas that Serizawa was taking the oxygen destroyer to the bottom of the ocean to kill Godzilla, this incarnation of Serizawa is using a weapon of mass destruction in order to save Godzilla. Worked very closely with Bear McCreary, by the way, talking about collaboration.
Yeah.
Bear's music for this sequence, like, still gives me chills.
It's perfect.
And we worked for quite a while to sort of try and create what we called the monster opera, something that felt almost religious in nature, surprisingly emotional. And there were days when I had hard days on this movie where I would just listen to this music to kind of get through it. Because I figured if Serizawa can lug an atomic weapon into Godzilla's lair to save him, then I can finish this damn movie. But also one of the sequences that we did extensively previs.
That was a visual effects shot. The timer.
Movement.
Yeah, another subtle VFX shot. But also it was important for me to have a moment of affection between a human character and Godzilla, which in his 65-year history we have never seen.
Right.
He has never had a bonding moment with a human being like this. He's never been touched affectionately in a Godzilla film before. Usually that kind of a moment is reserved for Kong.
Right.
You know, Kong always gets the man and beast kind of connective scene. but we don't expect it in a Godzilla film. So other than a brief moment in one of the older Toho films where someone shot Godzilla with a gun, there's never been physical contact with Godzilla before. And then Ken speaking in Japanese, that was his edition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He, strangely enough, we had written that in English, which didn't make sense. All right. So this explosion, that wide shot of the explosion from outside.
Yeah.
Since you guys are watching this on the video,
yeah.
I would suggest you hit the pause button and look for a very particular pile of bones outside of Godzilla's lair.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not going to say who it is or who it resembles.
Oh.
But I think eagle-eyed fans might be able to, maybe with some Photoshop help, analyze those fossils to see something specific.
It's Jimmy Hoffa, isn't it? You can just tell me.
And the other little fun thing is that the mountain that Godzilla's lair is located in is inspired by Mount Sinai.
Ooh. You're getting deep.
Yeah. While the city that surrounds it was inspired by supposed ancient designs of Atlantis. I'm not saying it is Atlantis. It's Atlantis-esque.
It's implied.
Yes.
I love this. Oh, chills in the theater.
So this is the first time we get to hear Godzilla's classic theme in all of its glory. You know, we've hinted at it previously, but Bear was correct in saving it for this specific moment. And
he's ripped right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ripped right now.
And there's a little classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon in this. In the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon, he would always sort of have a glorious rise in front of the ship, the Calico. But again, similar to the moment with Serizawa, the intention here is to start to show that Godzilla and humans could form a genuine alliance with each other. Like, Godzilla is not just a big, dumb, rampaging monster, but that there's something in his eyes. Mm-hmm. You know, that there's a recognition, there's a sense of familiarity, and curiosity on his part.
Yeah. And once Mark can see that, Kyle's character, he can finally figure out the missing piece to finding his family again.
Yeah. You know, we've always sort of imagined that Mark had this sort of Captain Ahab, Moby Dick relationship with Godzilla. Mm-hmm. That he's always been out for revenge, that he blames Godzilla for his son's death. And this kind of becomes a moment of, like, forgiveness between the two of them.
More cloud work. Oh, I love it.
Well, it adds such a sense of scale.
Yeah, it's just like, it's heavy.
Atmosphere, clouds, like, it's how you help sell scale.
Oh, here we go, man. You know, it's like Godzilla's about to go. Give him this work. It's huge.
I love how exhausted GT looks.
Yeah.
I know you guys were exhausted, but like you guys just got out of battle in DC.
It's Godzilla, right? I mean, I know we already tried Godzilla.
And this for Mark, you know, his first time stepping into a role of leadership,
right?
Something that he abandoned in Monarch a long time ago, working for Serizawa.
But now Serizawa's passed that baton on to him.
Yeah, that's real.
And the first time we've seen everybody work together as a team.
Yeah.
What about Mo, Larry, and Curly?
Everybody was thinking it. Oh, I felt when he said it.
I think we thought about Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Life is like a hurricane.
I can't believe you just...
Yeah, come on, it works.
I can't believe you just quoted that. Wow.
It's popping, man.
But now I've got it stuck in my head.
It's in there.
Dang it.
Door brings a hurricane.
Oh, no.
Charles Dance.
I could listen to him. I could listen to him recite anything.
Yeah.
Like, I actually want to record Charles Dance reading children's books. You know, like Charles Dance reads bedtime stories.
Good Night Moon.
It would be kind of ominous and intense. But
yeah, pretty heavy.
Record him like just a baby in a crib and him reading it to the baby.
I don't think the baby would cry because it would be terrified.
Yeah. Are you asleep yet? Revere.
You gotta drive through a
Whips this
gate.
Jeep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can't ever get out of your truck to open it. Like, you just gotta gun it. So this was another one of our previous sequences that we did to get the film greenlit. And again, it's pretty close. And again, we're not in Boston. We are on top of a set in Atlanta, and that whole skyline was added in post-production.
Yeah. They even had to secure some of the facets on the roof that were blowing in the wind.
Yeah. So minor touch. The set deck even added the fake bird poop.
Oh, wow. It's got to be real.
Because that was one of my specific requests. I said, listen, we're on a rooftop in Boston. There'd be bird crap everywhere.
Yeah, it's too clean up here.
So just little touches.
Oh.
And strangely enough, Poltergeist was a big inspiration for this sequence.
They are here.
Yeah, like what I love about Poltergeist is the use of clouds to sort of represent a very ominous entrance.
Once again, more cloud work.
Oh, and so for not only are there visual Easter eggs scattered throughout the film, but there's a lot of audio Easter eggs. And just before Ghidorah lands, I would rewind and take a listen. There's a moment of silence before he actually hits the ground. And there's a very specific, subtle sound effect that we added before he hits. So, yeah, go back and take a listen.
Oh, yeah, this is just fear. This is it for me. Millie is killing this role right now.
Oh, I love this. We always wanted from the beginning too to have a moment where, Millie's character is empowered and becomes kind of the princess turned warrior inside the castle.
Yeah. Instead of the princess being held captive by the dragon, she's facing it. Yeah, we had so many wind and rain machines. It was important to me to sort of have as many in-camera effects as possible. So, while we would enhance things with VFX and digital rain or digital atmosphere, there's nothing like having it on set with you because it helps get the actors in character.
Yeah.
But it just makes everything a little bit more visceral. And we had a lot of happy accidents, like the raindrops popping onto the lens made things feel more visceral. And so in post, I would have the VFX guys add occasionally like digital raindrops onto the lens, just so it felt like the camera was actually in that environment. Because I hate it when it feels like the camera is separated from your action. Like it was important for me that it feel like even in your aerial fights, like the camera's being buffeted by the wind or shaken by the creature's footfalls. It just added like an extra layer of tension.
Hey Shay, will you give us your line here?
Prepare for landing. Oh, what you mean? It's Godzilla's world. We just live in it. I'm in pocket. By the way, first day of work. This is my first day of work.
Oh, that's right.
You threw me right in.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, this is the biggest set I've ever been on. I'm trying to not look crazy. And they're like, look, all right, so it's going to be a lot of wind and rain. Don't fall.
I know.
Don't slip on this ramp.
Shay came on the set with his arms up. Like he just finished the race. Like, I'm here. And then 12 hours later, you look at a shell of a person.
That was daunting for me, too, as a director, to work. For my first day with actors to be a scene like this is hard, right? Because, like, we don't get to even have, like, a nice dialogue scene where it's just you sitting in a room talking to somebody else. It's just throw them in there, and what am I doing there? You're running from that. Yeah. You're going to get wet. And
Screaming Madison.
Yeah. So I always felt bad just as a director. I was like, I mean, you're doing a lot but it's not. It's not like it's not a dramatic, emotional scene where I'm asking you to, like, you know, find inspiration in the depths of your soul or anything.
Fear. But yeah, this is like the biggest scene I've ever been a part of, and it was my first day of work, and I was just like, okay, don't mess up. You see it in my eyes.
I mean, at least you're not going to forget your lines.
Exactly.
You know? I love this.
Yeah.
Boom. Done. Gone. They just ran through their friends.
Yeah.
You know, they just inhaled
them.
Yeah, inhaled the ashes of their comrades.
Oh.
This was great. We wanted to get in the mix, you know.
Yeah.
Really feel like ants under the feet of giants.
Yeah.
In this sequence.
And that tail thwack, Godzilla hitting Ghidorah with his tail, was a very late addition. But it's a move he would have in a lot of the classic films, so I was glad we finally got to squeeze it in.
Yeah, his tail is, you know, it's extremely long. Like, you know, he's gonna use it.
It's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I do like that Godzilla sort of feels like a T-Rex and a Stegosaurus. You know, if you look at his dimensions,
right,
and proportions, there definitely is a Stegosaurus vibe to him.
Originally a picture wrap on Griff right there.
True.
Oh, yeah.
True. Originally, Griffin was supposed to die there. Elizabeth Ludlow's character, Griffin, was supposed to bite it. But I just liked her so much.
She's cool.
Yeah, that I said, you know, let's keep her alive. And it also kind of gave you guys something to do, just keeping one of your comrades alive. I love this little moment, too, because it helps hint at what we were talking about earlier. You know, the idea that Chen and her sister would have some unspoken connection to Mothra.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they're sort of layered in mystery. But I love seeing adult Mothra as an absolute badass in here.
Me and Anthony Ramos, who plays the other soldier in Martinez, we would make fun of Griffin constantly on set about that, by the way.
Really?
We almost lost you back there. Just every chance we got.
And the Royal Rumble begins.
Yeah.
Pay per view.
Again, Rodan will throw down with anybody.
Yeah, and I love that it was like, oh yeah, don't forget I'm in this film right now. You know,
Yeah.
It came out the cut.
I mean, normally in the in the first team up between Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla, it was an alliance of the three of them versus Ghidorah.
Yeah.
But we sort of wanted to play with that idea a little bit, and the idea that Ghidorah would sort of take over the pack, and that Rodan, smartly for his own survival, would swear his allegiance to whoever's king.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, and in this case, Ghidorah is wearing the crown.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah.
But it's the tag team match of the century. right
Yeah.
now.
So instead of having what you expect, which is, you know, a three-way alliance between Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra, it's more of a 2-on-2 tag team match.
This was a fun day too, because we're just in a Jeep, just like throwing our bodies.
Yeah.
Shoving it.
What did you just say?
If I had the two of you for parents,
By the way, Barn saves the day.
Yeah.
They might
Standard.
not have figured that out
You
without
know,
you.
I'm out here.
You know?
Putting in work.
So this is one of our very few exterior shoots. This was, again, Atlanta, and that was a big blue screen behind Millie. That's an actual row of apartment buildings, one of the few in Atlanta that could double for a Boston street. Yeah, Millie knows how to bring the screams.
Oh, Boston. We hardly knew ye.
I kind of want to go watch this in Boston. Right? I would love to watch this in Boston on opening weekend.
I'm honestly, I don't think that I'm allowed in Boston anymore. I've been going pretty hard on Boston. I'm like,
so this was something that we've never seen Ghidorah really do. Actually, I think there was a brief moment in one of the old movies where he did shoot some bolts out of his wings. But the idea that, we've seen him shoot technically they're called gravity beams, not lightning, out of his mouth. But the idea that he'd be able to sort of charge himself up and then emit them from every part of his body is just seemed like a nice escalation of his skills.
Yeah, and we wanted him to seem intelligent, and
Right.
in that moment, he drains the city's power,
right,
to amp himself up. But no matter what he does, Godzilla's still standing.
Come on now, you know the name of the movie.
And then here, just, the heart of the battle between Rodan and Mothra. It's one of my favorite fights because, again, two winged monsters going at it.
Oh, yeah, Mothra takes out Rodan right here.
Well, and traditionally in the old movies, Mothra never got that much visceral action.
Yeah,
because she never quite had the limbs.
Woo! Night
she never had a stinger. So
yeah, the stinger was like it's like a shock.
Yeah, a new addition. As much as you want to pay tribute to the characters and all the previous films, you have to add something new. There has to be a new layer. And by the way, Mothra has had some pretty wacky abilities in her career. She has shot magical ray beams out of her antenna. She's had poison dust come off of her wings. So it only made sense that she would evolve some other sort of defense mechanism. And I think that if you ever had to go back in time and see these creatures in their natural environment when they ruled the planet, it would have been a very hostile environment. So a creature like Mothra, who is normally very gentle, would have to have some defense capabilities. So that's why we gave her bigger, sharper, sort of mantis-like claws, and yes, a stinger.
Yeah, man.
Which, if you want to get dark, like, what if that's how she lays her eggs?
Oh.
is Rodan
eat you
right?
Rodan's pregnant.
Is Rodan currently pregnant? And doesn't know it. That would be our post-credit scene.
That's your movie right there.
Right. Yeah, the egg that they discovered at the beginning of the film was some form of prey. Right. But by the way, biologically, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I love this day of shooting because this is my first time working with like I said, a set this big and like, Shay, so you're going to be moving this piece of a house off this bathtub in like a couple of takes. I'm just like moving it. Like I'm not putting the heaviness on it.
I remember that.
Try not to slip standing on top of a bathtub.
I like that scene because it mirrors the opening with them. This is what started the journey for this family,
right?
And this is their chance to fix everything. Like Serizawa says, the moment where we come together or fall apart, right, Mike?
I didn't think about that. You're pretty smart.
Exactly out here. This reminds me of when I was a kid and like there were moments where I was like, Mom, I don't know if Godzilla's gonna
I remember when we showed the previs to the first time to the G team, remember?
Yeah.
And Anthony was like,
he lost it.
Oh shit. They dropped him from space.
I really enjoyed like working on this because I like to think of like, okay, in the ancient world, how would Ghidorah hunt Godzilla's species? Like, and there are cases of winged animals like golden eagles. I think will pluck goats off the side of mountains and then just drop them and then feast on their carcasses. And here we have a very noble moment for our queen of the monsters, Mothra. It's a long held tradition that Mothra will tend to sacrifice herself for Godzilla. And I know we were sort of at a crossroads of like whether she would do it in this movie, and it was just too irresistible.
Yeah, it was something that went back and forth for a while. I'm really happy that it ended up this way.
Yeah, for various reasons. I mean, I think it does make her more noble, the idea that she's willing to do it. But for me, Mothra never really dies. Like that little magical fairy dust that just sprinkled down on Godzilla is very intentional for her. And we'll see what happens. We'll see the payoff of it soon. But I also believe Mothra never really dies. I think that she has a consciousness about life in the universe that is much bigger than even humans can comprehend. And she understands that she's going to come back.
Yeah, she's always the key to finding the balance.
Yeah, that she knows how that cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth works. And I also love the idea that every Mothra carries the memories of the previous one. So it's really it's one soul that's constantly finding new bodies.
I love that they wrap around him.
That was inspired by an old Japanese movie poster from, I think it was 91, one of my favorite ones. And I remember going to film school and seeing that poster in I want to say Starlog magazine or something. And it just made such an impression because it was the best representation of Godzilla and Ghidorah that I'd ever seen. It makes sense that as a predator, Ghidorah would coil himself around Godzilla like a snake.
Yeah.
So this was the first day for all these actors.
Man.
And here I am, directing, the beautiful Zhang Ziyi, Bradley, Thomas, and, what are we doing today? You're running off the back of a helicopter, and then you're running back on.
Yeah.
Now, again, not having any kind of a warm-up scene.
No.
It's just, we're throwing you into Act 3, but it all worked. But it was important to me, to see that all of the Monarch team was coming back for these people. That they didn't just send some soldiers in to pick them up.
No,
that they went themselves. Because for me, it's just as much about the Monarch family as it is about the Russell family in this, and seeing these characters from different backgrounds coming together.
Let's go.
This was a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense that Emma should have to... Whether you want to see this as redemption or as the villain being punished, I think is up to you and your belief system as a human being.
Right.
Or maybe it's a little from column A and a little from column B. But personally, I like to believe that this is a moment of redemption for her.
This is the arc right here.
Yeah.
This is what you fight for.
Yeah.
I also like to think about her getting on the ship with everybody and how awkward it is.
That first
day, hey, sorry about everything.
Yeah,
But the thing is, if she got on the ship, they'd all be dead.
Exactly.
Ghidorah,
right after.
yeah, he just would have blasted them out of the sky. So she had no choice but to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in my mind, Emma's not the villain.
Right.
Team Emma 2020.
Team Emma. Still got the gun in the holster. I see you. I see you. Never know.
Yeah, I really thought the VFX artist did such a great job of bringing Ghidorah's personalities out in moments like this. Where you sense him seething. You sense him savoring this moment where he's finally going to get to squash this little bug. For me, it's like finding that mosquito that's been keeping you up at night.
Yeah.
And it gives him a greater sense of awareness that he knows that she's actually the one.
Yeah. So this is a very particular form of Godzilla that I think the fans would recognize as burning Godzilla.
Yeah.
And it harkens back to the Toho movies, where every now and then his radiation would power up to a level that you would see it visualized. But all right, so there, in that sort of energy bubble that he emits, his nuclear pulse, if you look at the bubble closely, you'll see a very particular pattern in the bubble that look like the wings of a certain other creature. There it is again. So the idea there is that Mothra's sacrifice was not in vain.
Right.
That she knew exactly what she was doing.
Charge moment.
That
stepping on the chest cap.
By the way, I remember when we first came up with this idea of what Godzilla's finishing move should be.
In the premiere, my girlfriend was like, "Well, he never killed Emma." I was like, "Look at Emma's gone."
Yeah. So this was a fun moment to sort of map out, the sort of fake out believing that Ghidorah is alive. What we realized is that we had to top what Gareth did in the first film, because the way that Godzilla finished off the Muto.
When he
cracked
the head open.
They called it the kiss of death, when he just blew his atomic breath down the Muto's throat. We had to come up with something better, or at least as good as that. So this was our attempt at that. The idea that Godzilla wouldn't just finish off Ghidorah, that he would humiliate him by eating him.
Yeah.
But then he couldn't actually eat him. Either way, he's not coming back.
Or is he?
Ooh.
And then this was sort of, this was, by the way, inspired by Conan the Barbarian, of all things. This whole sort of final moment where he gets to vanquish Ghidorah and sort of face off against these other potential rivals, only to establish his dominance. Because I always love the end of Conan when he just cuts off James Earl Jones's head, holds it up in front of his followers, and throws it down the stairs. And you knew who was boss from that point forward. You knew there was a new sheriff in town. So yes, this is Godzilla firmly establishing himself as the king of the monsters. And a little piece of trivia, I found out after we were done that this whole moment of the creatures bowing in respect was animated by a Japanese woman at MPC, and she was pushing. She wanted to animate this. It was important to her that she be the one to animate this, and I really love what they did.
Yeah, that was a moment in the script when we said all the other Titans bow to Godzilla.
Yeah, animals do that.
Animals do it because obviously in their culture,
there's alphas. You know. Yeah, the animals do show submission to the alpha of their packs. So they will bow. They will avert their eyes.
Yeah, or ears back.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. I mean, you see your dog do it when it does something that it's feeling guilty about. You know?
Yeah, or have a strong hey.
Yeah,
puts his ears back.
So, hey, Mike, what's going on in this?
There's a lot going on in these end credits. So, we thought it would be fun to sort of have this epilogue of sorts that would show sort of the immediate aftermath of the world as we left it, because obviously we have left things on quite a cliffhanger. You know, all the genies are out of the bottles.
Yeah.
And this was sort of a way of showing that, okay, it's not like we're entering some post-apocalyptic Mad Max world, but we're showing that the coexistence that Serizawa and even Emma were proposing is happening. You know, that the Titans are out there, but they're sort of helping in the weirdest way, that they're returning to their natural environments, that they aren't necessarily just rampaging and attacking cities, because Godzilla, the rightful ruler, is sort of keeping this truce between man and monster and sort of keeping the peace.
Godzilla's everybody's dad.
Yeah, that should have been our tagline. Yeah, Godzilla's everybody's dad, but also
Father's Day.
But if you do take the time to read these, and since theoretically, if you're listening to this, you are watching on home video, you can hit the pause button, and I would recommend you hit the pause button. Take a look at the headlines. Take a look at some of the authors of the headlines, one specific author in particular, and I would try to read the redacted text that is popping up around people's credits. And if you put those puzzle pieces together, it's another layer of fun information for you. And then
we were on Skull Island right there.
We were.
Yeah.
So we are also setting up what the next adventure in the Monsterverse is cooking up.
Yeah.
Which is a return to Skull Island to visit another particular monster.
If you could go back and like a couple of those scenes where, you guys got to find that balance. If you could just add those scenes, how long would the movie be?
I mean, the first cut was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I called it Godzilla.
We're being robbed.
Yeah, I called it Godzilla the miniseries.
Look, man. I love that Godzilla himself, Mothra herself.
I did that. Yes.
I think Mike was planning that from before we even finished the first draft.
I think it's fun to reward people for paying attention, because some of my favorite films have stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Where there are movies that I will go back and watch that I've seen 15 times and notice things I never noticed before. And one of those is Airplane.
Oh, I love Airplane.
Right? Now go back and watch the credits for Airplane.
Okay.
Or maybe it's Airplane 2 or both. Definitely The Naked Gun, right?
Yeah.
So they will put in the most hilarious credits.
Oh, I got it.
So, because like there's an actual title on a film called Best Boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so they had Best Boy and that particular crew member's name, and then they had Worst Boy, Adolf Hitler. Or they'll say, in case of tornado, southwest corner of basement. So it's like these random little sight gags. They just can't help themselves, but they sprinkle all the way into the closing credits. So yes, we had Mothra as herself, Rodan as herself. And then there are certain supporting characters' names that are also homages to certain well-known creature artists.
Well, maybe we give a shout out to Alex Garcia.
Alex Garcia.
Yeah.
And Mary Parent, Ali Mendez,
Jay
Ashenfeld.
So many people to say thank you to.
Yeah. Just the studio was so great with
they're
us.
all rolling past us. And, and I got to say, like, it's easy to sort of fast forward past credits or not, really look at them. But these are the unsung heroes, the VFX artists.
Oh, for sure.
Hundreds, maybe even thousands. I don't even know. I don't count. But these people work so hard, and they rarely ever get the recognition they deserve. But they pulled some serious hours, poured lots of literal blood, sweat, and tears into this. And I know that a lot of them, if not all of them, grew up watching Godzilla, were inspired by the films. And so I think for them, like us, it felt like a calling to do this movie right. But they really, really saved the day and really made these creatures feel like living, breathing characters.
I got to shout out the best name on set, Dixon McPhillips. Tell me that doesn't sound like a child detective. Dixon McPhillips. Shout out to Dixon.
And the mystery of the monkey's paw.
Yeah, that's right. Dixon McPhillips.
Yeah.
You just started a whole franchise.
Look, I'm telling you, I kept trying to tell him on set. I was like, it's not your name. He was like, yeah. In that Dixon voice.
Yeah. But the other thing I love, by the way, about this film and the many names you see scrolling by, the many different companies, is that it was genuinely a global effort. Mm-hmm. We had people from so many different countries around the world working together as one giant team. So, we had visual effects artists in India and Canada, Mexico, United States, everywhere. We had a whole crew in Mexico that you worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were wonderful. It was nice to see how much they cared about it and how much they gave to it.
We brought the Japanese and the Chinese together. There's just so many different efforts from so many different talented kinds of people that really helped make this movie possible.
The credits are like a small city.
Pretty much. Yeah. Honestly, again, this was a global effort. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining our rambling commentary.
Thanks.
Let's start over. Let's do it again.
We got more to say.
Yeah, play it back.